Hi everyone. My name is Scott Goodwill, and I'm a computer teacher at the Donegal School District. I spent the past 18 years at Donegal. I taught second grade for the first 9 years of my career, and was given the opportunity to teach a computer class. So I decided to give it a try, and now I've been teaching keyboarding and other computer skills for approximately the last 9 years. I do so to 900 students over a 6-day cycle. So for the past few years, I've been trying to get STEM incorporated into the Donegal computer class program. And now the district is on board, and we're beginning to do that. I'm going to be teaching a program called Engineering by Design to 4th and 5th grade students next year. I'm also going to be teaching my current 3rd and 6th grade students as well. But I'm very excited about the opportunity at Donegal. Let me tell you a little bit about myself and family as well. I've got a wonderful family. I've got a wife, Mary, 2 daughters, Hannah and Caroline. My wife and I met when we were 8 years old, and so we've known each other for many, many years, and didn't get married until about 21 years ago. I have the 2 daughters, Hannah and Caroline. They're the pride and joy of my life. My daughter Hannah works locally at a restaurant. My daughter Caroline, on the right here, is a senior and plans to attend Soka University of America in Southern California. We also have 2 dogs, a pit bull named Keo and a Boston Terrier pug mix named Benzie. So how do students learn science? I kind of follow the constructive approach, where I believe they build on prior knowledge, and they try to make sense of the world around them. So teachers need to realize that not all students are coming with the same kind of background. Their knowledge of science in often cases is inadequate. So we need to find opportunities to teach accurate science concepts to our students. So like I said, I believe in the constructive approach that we read about in chapter 13. I also believe in the work that Vygotsky suggested, in that we need to take into account, the differences and the concepts in science. So when we are picking our lessons and the resources, we need to make sure that we take those misconceptions into account. For example, teachers shouldn't be moving on to a more complicated concept until we're sure those foundations are in place. So how should you teach science? According to the reading that we did for the science of teaching, there were 5 phases that for science learning. The first teaches the first of the phases is to engage, and we try to engage the students by trying to capture their attention. We use videos and interesting questions and problems and things like that to get our students engaged. We then should move on to explore. The explore phase is when we try to provide concrete hands-on experiences, give kids something to do, where students can demonstrate that they have certain concepts. And then we move on to the explaining phase, where teachers try to direct the students, and sometimes using direct instruction, including vocabulary, teaching basic core concepts. We can also then move on to the elaboration phase of the learning experience, where we try to expand or extend the concepts without making things too difficult for the learner. And finally, in the evaluation phase, students, demonstrate their understanding, and teachers look for the evidence of that. So how do I view STEM? I was enjoying looking at those different models, but I realized that some of them are separating the different subjects. I kind of believe that they all fall in place together. I think science is the number one concept, and then after that we have math inside of that, with technology and engineering inside of that. I don't think you can separate any of them. I think they all overlap. And I also kind of subscribe to the 4 C's. I want to make sure that our students in all those different subjects are being creative. They're giving opportunities to communicate. They're given opportunities to create, to critically think and collaborate with one another. So I don't see those as being separate. I see them as being, one big whole unit. There are several questions that we were asked to explain, referencing our resources. So I'll go through those relatively quickly. I see I'm running out of time already. So what are our desired outcomes? First, I think we need to make sure that we're expanding our number of students, that pursue degrees in STEM, including minorities and women. We see already in the workforce that there are a lot more men in STEM careers than women. Goal number 2 is to expand the STEM capable workforce. It doesn't need to be necessarily degree pursuing, but it does need to be something that incorporates STEM. And goal 3 is to try to get all of our students to be more STEM literate. I think that could actually help out in some other subjects. What are the best criteria for measuring success? I think it comes down to the number of students going into STEM-related majors and fields of employment. And there are many different kinds of STEM schools that we can use to encourage students to do that. We've got like the CTE, the career training education or career and technical education centers. We have CTC in our area that promotes a lot of STEM. We just need to see more people going into STEM. What are the attributes of a successful program? Well, a program needs to get students actively engaged. We need to have effective teachers, and we need to support the belief in STEM from administration and community. I think the engaging of students is very important. We can't just be pushing STEM on students. We need to give them a reason to get excited about it. So let's move on. What educational practices do successful programs employ? I think it's important that we have a coherent set of standards and curriculum. According to our text, that is a very important element. We need to have clear standards so students can learn. They should already be in place. Teachers should have a high capacity to teach. As much as we'd like them to enjoy what they're doing, they definitely need to be experts in their field. There needs to be a system of assessment and accountability. Going back one step here, let's talk about that teacher with high capacity to teach. Let's not forget that staff development is a very important part of this program. So teachers need to be given the opportunities to learn themselves. There needs to be an adequate instructional time. Often the reading gets the bulk of the day, especially in the elementary level. We need to find opportunities for students to find activities to do in science. And there needs to be equal access to STEM throughout our school system. It would be necessary to say, if you've got 2 or 3 elementary schools in a school district, they all need to have equal access. You can't just specialize in or have one school doing all the STEM activities. So what can schools do to support STEM education? There needs to be a shift in culture, changing culture. Everybody needs to buy into it. Administration needs to buy into it. Community needs to buy into it. Parents need to buy into it. I kind of look at it as similar to a sports team, one that is used to winning and being successful. I think once you get everybody on the same page, we can do the same thing with STEM education. Everybody could be successful and productive. How can you incorporate STEM into the classroom? We just need to find opportunities. We need to find links, things that are already happening in our classroom. There are a lot of possibilities, and I think sometimes we just get so focused on following the lesson, following the curriculum. We don't really look for those additional opportunities. It's just not something a lot of teachers are thinking about. So my goals for the course are, number one, to gain a better understanding of how to teach STEM, and number two, to gain confidence in my ability to teach science. So that's pretty much it. I do have one last item I know you've all been waiting for. The Milky Way is my favorite candy bar. I've been eating them for years. Every Halloween I try to get students to bring them in for me. We always get a good laugh out of that. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed my presentation. I'm sorry we went a little bit long. That's a lot of information to get in a 4-minute period, so I apologize. But thank you very much.